Hello YouTube, the Blind Wizard here, and I am back with Frieren, episode 4. Last time we left off with Frieren and Fern buying some supplies, as well as getting Fern a birthday gift, and taking out an ancient, by today's standards, demon, who, I didn't even mention this in the previous video, but he basically got power crept into obscurity and killed by his own spell. He got power crept. I will still find that funny to me. But we're moving on with episode 4. And I, once again, have no clue where we're going, because this is just a story about the journey. I mean, it's right there in the title, The Journey's End. What comes after is what Frieren is trying to figure out. And I do like her initial goal for like what her mission is going to be. Like, I do like her goal where it's like, I don't want to forget the journey I went on with my comrades, because soon the signs of it will fade, and she is a long-lived species as an elf, and she doesn't want to forget. So I do like where we're going. So we're just along for the ride. Let's go right into episode 4. Next time you see me will be that post-episode discussion. And as always, abracadabra, alakazam. Alrighty, post-episode discussion time. Well, I had a feeling we were going to go the direction of that episode. First of all, it felt like, once again, another just stop on Frieren's journey. But she finally got to appreciate a sunrise, which from her perspective wasn't really much of anything. It was just a sunrise. What could possibly be so special about it? But she recalled that she missed it the last time she was in that village, and because it was the heroes party situation, Himmel, Hyder, and Eisen, they were very upset that Frieren didn't show up for it. So, with Frieren having regretted not being able to tell Himmel her real feelings or get to know him as much as she wanted, part of her journey is she was going to see the sunrise. Now, Frieren being Frieren, she would have slept through it again and missed it if not for Fern waking her up. And there are definitely moments, like before, where she acts her age all right, where she's like, I don't want to do anything. You know what I mean? Because you do have to, like, I always forget that she is old. And speaking of her age, once we, like, reunited with Eisen, and he was like, oh, I have a lead on FLAMME's real notes and stuff. Frieren just, casually goes, oh yeah, my master. And she planted a tree guarding her notes and research for 1,000 years. So, this episode was a big reveal for me. That one, she is well over 1,000 years old, and it's still just a chunk of her lifetime. It's not even like a majority. It's still like this much of her actual lifespan used up. Still. And the reveal that FLAMME did exist, and she was Frieren's master. Meaning, Frieren technically knew this whole time that every tome that was fake, because she knew her master had a real set of notes, and that she knew that the barrier wouldn't have been broken and people would have discovered it. No. It adds so much more context to her just than more than just her recognizing it as a fake. It's because she knew no one would be able to find FLAMME's research or her magic notes to even be able to replicate it in the first place. So it makes sense that she knew the fakes. even though you could argue from a magic spell perspective, because she loves collecting spells, that she would know they were fake anyway. But so, like, this episode was pretty cool. I definitely do need to apologize for last episode about dunking on Frieren a little too much with her emotional state, because this episode reminded me that she had a big breakdown at Himmel's funeral. Not during the funeral, mind you, it was after. But I had completely forgot that scene was there, and that this was technically one of the biggest points of her entire journey. Getting to know Himmel in his death, and try to learn as much as she can afterwards. And this is where her journey is taking her so far. But the episode ends with the whole revelation that there is such thing as a heaven, as FLAMME puts it, and it's located on the northern side of the continent in the territory of Ende, which is now the territory of the Demon King's castle. Oh boy. And it does finally give the show a little bit of direction and like a goal to set towards, because it was said in this very episode that journey is a decade long in of itself, which to Frieren that means nothing. Watch the decade go by fast because of how time passes in Frieren. But in other words, I love this episode. Once again, the visuals are stunning, the music is stunning as always, the voice acting is on point, even though I will never view Chris Guerrero's characters as anything more than Einzel Gone. They're just his voice. And it was the first voice I got really attached to dub-wise. That, like, that voice is his character. That is how I would picture Ein speaking if he was speaking English. It just fits so well. Is it his canon voice? No. No, it's not. Their canon voice is always their Japanese voice unless they're a foreign character from another country. But I think that voice worked so well for Ein's. Why am I bringing this up in a Frieren video? I have no idea. It's because Chris Guerrero's characters usually don't deviate from that voice inflection. What else? I do like that in this episode Fern did admit that Frieren is like pretty decent as a teacher, but that like she doesn't she has her flaws, and Fern pointed them out. It also was very apparent in this episode that Fern kept being treated like Frieren's mother. But it's nice to see that even though Fern has to put up with Frieren's idiosyncrasies, that Frieren is starting to change because of Fern. And I mean, Eisen even noticed that you used to never care about how other people felt about time or like being considerate of others in the first place. And Frieren's like, it's Fern. She's scary when she's mad. So I think this is a good character growth episode. Great revelations that I genuinely just did not see coming. I didn't expect her to be thousands of years old, my goodness. And it gives the show its much needed course, a direction, a goal, an end point. Love it. Even though I wouldn't have cared regardless, I loved the previous episodes anyway. If the series was just more of that, I'd be fine with it. Not every anime needs to be Jujutsu Kaisen. And that'll be it for this episode. I don't think I'll be doing any more Frieren today. This was quite enough to say that I am back on Frieren, but because of the way the calendar looks to be set up, I have something else I have to do today, so I'll get right on that. But Frieren will become the new weekly thing. Maybe I'll make it a Monday only thing. Who knows? I'll have to get feedback from every other guy on this channel I have to put up with those guys again. As well as seeing how the audience, yes, you, the audience, how you love this format of a week calendar and me sticking to that calendar as much as possible. So with all that being said, thank you all so much for watching. Hope you liked it. Hit the like button, subscribe, share the video with a friend. Join the Patreon, turn on your notifications, especially if this becomes the new standard where I have a ton of content that comes out in a week. And I need to make sure that you all get that content. And as always, I will see you all in the next one. Goodbye.